we here with some more Josh Johnson. Oh, by the way, my name is Randy Suarez, aka Silva Crows, back here with another amazing reaction. Like I said, we're back with some more Josh Johnson. It's literally ice versus good. And to be honest, that's what it feels like for the past year and a half. And what happened to the lady, that should never happen at all. I don't care what your beliefs are when it comes to politics in general. That should never happen, and at all. And come to find out, she was doing what they say, and this person got trigger happy. When coming down, it's one of those things I said months ago. When did we I said months ago, when did we forsake ourselves? It gets to a point that it's crazy. But anyway, I digress. If you like any of this content, please like, comment, subscribe to my channel. Like, comment, subscribe to Josh Johnson. I will leave the original link to this video down below so watch it uninterrupted. Also, link to my Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Follow me on those such platforms. Also, link to the Discord. Come join to the Crow's Nest. Talk some much stuff. Have a jolly good time. Also, link to the Cashapp food groceries. Now, donate. Whatever you want to donate is fine. Don't. That's fine as well. Say the super things. But by donating, like, help, subscribe, sharing the good stuff, however show your support, lets me know you rock with the reaction content, rock with the channel, and rock with your boy. And let's get started. And please grab your snack because this is going to be an hour-plus video. So let's go.
I thought a lot this week about how like family can be chosen. Like you have your family, you have your family, your people you grow up with and everything.
It's one of those things. It's always it rings true. Family don't end with blood.
Along the way, you find people who you really connect with. Mm-hmm. You choose them and they choose you and everything. Because the family that you're born into, I'm not saying there isn't massive value in making everything work with your family that you possibly can. I'm just saying that, like, sometimes look, they're your first crack at, like, relationships. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like with most people, especially with the big family, if you line them up together, you'd be like, all right, if y'all didn't already know each other, I'm not sure you'd be hanging out.
Right. And here's the thing when it comes to stuff like that, it really like that. Like, you look at some of your family members like, I don't know if I like you. Because they end up doing some wild, crazy thing that everybody call them out for it, but they don't really call them out for it. But this is one of those things like, are we not? We're just gonna ignore this? It gets weird.
Like, I got cousins that I love dearly, but like, I don't know. They're like athletic. And then I show up with a Rubik's Cube, but they're like, very cool, very cool. Yeah, you can tell somebody's not into what you're into when they talk to you all slow like that.
Yeah.
When they're like, that's awesome, bud, that's...
And yes, that pisses me off. Like, dude, just say you're not into it. That's fine. We're all into different things. As long as it's healthy.
That is fantastic. I like that you are into that.
At the point, you just ask me to punch you.
Wow. Ooh, I've been hit with wows in my life. Sometimes you get someone that even if you weren't related, if y'all had met, you would have linked up perfect, like understand each other. That real bond, right? And you have the benefit of actually being family, so you get even more time with this person. Like I look at, tell you about Nikki. Nikki was a kid back down south, very big kid, but not like big, just tall. I say big, but I mean tall. He was too tall.
He was too tall.
He was too tall of a person. It was too much.
Tall of a person.
like cartoonishly tall. He was that type of tall where everybody asked him if he played basketball. You know that?
To be honest, I understand that because I did have a friend named Andre. Dude was literally, ironically, Hispanic, named Andre. And this is when I was 4th grade. This man was, I was like, what, 4 foot something in 4th grade? This man was pushing 6 feet in the 4th grade. See, at the time, my size makes sense for the 4th grade. His didn't.
You know, that type of like, I mean, you're just so, do you just love playing basketball? As if it's a requirement to stay that tall. That you gotta start putting in hoop time if you're gonna stay this tall.
Hey man, might as well count for something.
It's such a funny question. I've never been asked if I play basketball for my height. It's just such a funny question because I can imagine what's going through the mind of a tall person when they're getting that question because it's such a thirsty question from a short person.
It is very much so. It is.
They're like, do you play? You must. Like you have to.
Yeah, you have to.
You need this. I need this. I need you to play. Why can't just do it? I feel like that desperation is because you know that they could touch it. It's like you could touch the rim so easy. You have to touch it for both of us. You have to play.
You have to touch it.
I don't know what the rim feels like. Just.
I don't know what the rim feels like. Hey man, I never got to that point. Thank God, because that would sound weird.
Please play.
Touch the rim for me.
I need this. But Nicky was tall, but he was as tall as he was clumsy. He was that type of person you would ask to grab something from the top shelf for you, and then as he's grabbing it, he's got the height, but he didn't have the grip. So he really just knocks something down off onto your head. You about to thank him too. You looking up. Thank you so much. And so him playing basketball was a disaster. He was very clumsy. And it was insane to watch. Like, I give him a little bit of grace because, like, when he would dribble, the ball did take too long to get back. Like, that's not all his fault. When I dribble, I'm right here. It's a frequent visitor, right? Yeah. But when he would dribble, it'd just take forever to come back up, and by then he had already run away. Like, he could do that thing, though. He could do that thing where he could palm the ball. That was wild to watch. Just watch him grab the ball and hold it up look like a magic trick of being tall.
Magic trick of being tall.
And he was always getting, truly just, smoked. On the court, even his handles were terrible. He tried to put it through his leg, it would hit his elbow on the other side.
Man, he was lanky.
Never knew how much pressure to apply to the dribble, so instead of being over here one, he's over here watching it fly away.
Oh, poor Nicky.
And there was one day, I don't know what got into him, but there was one day he was making a drive for that net. He wanted to show off for somebody, and so he's running down the court, clearly traveling. There's no way he was ever gonna. And he's over here with got both hands on the ball, got the elbow out when people get close, the weapons. And then this dude jumps for a dunk. He goes to dunk, and on top of being uncoordinated, on top of being a true waste of height, this young man has no strength in his ankles or calves. So when he jumps for the dunk and he flies forward, there's someone guarding him. And I think even that guy thought he was going to fly over. Because, look, he didn't do a simple, jump up, efficient dunk. He fully leg spread NBA logo The problem is he's either pushed or made everybody else get out of the way up until this last person, this guy, this guy trying to finish just standing there, right? And because he got no air, because he jumped the height of his own shins.
Oh no.
He simply flies into this man. He jumped into him. I've never seen a person jump into another person. Like he jumped into him like he thought he would go through and it, like he thought he would be him. He jumps. This guy's got his arms out and he jumped into him like it was the end of a war. Like they were finally reunited. This man, holding the ball in the air, just jumps forward. Flies into this dude. And never in the history of street ball, I don't think anyone's ever seen anything happen like this. This man probably expected Nicky to fly over him. But when he just sort of kept coming forward,
so he basically jumped.
Basically the height he was already at. But with his legs spread. Never in the history of basketball on a public court has this happened. He flew in just trying to dunk, and then this man caught him. I need to show you then. He caught him.
He caught him. At that point, just, amen, yeah, the height, yeah, just put the ball down. If someone who's way less taller than you just simply just catch you, and you're way taller than them, back it up. You're gonna, don't pick up the ball. No.
Caught him into his arms. Didn't fall backwards or anything, just straight up.
If they have to do like freaking dirty dance to you, caught you, and the person is shorter than you, again, pack the ball up. You're done.
Caught him because Nicky started jumping too far away, so he didn't have the momentum to knock somebody down. And then Nicky, this fool, still dunked. Still dunks. And then had the nerve to let go of the rim.
Oh, come on, man. Come on, Nicky.
Putting all his weight back into this man's arms.
Oh.
Craziest part about it, he was still talking trash the whole time. He's still being held midair, talking crazy to everybody on the court. This man is up here. That's right, this is my house. Y'all get out the kitchen because I'm cooking right now. Can't nobody touch me. Sir, someone is touching you right now.
Oh, God.
So uncomfortable. And, you know, Nicky was tall, he wasn't big or anything, but he was big enough to recognize that he was bigger than the people around him. And so he was somebody who truly fit that stereotype of like gentle giant, like didn't want to hurt anybody, didn't want to mess with anybody. In fact, his need to be gentle actually made him pretty easy to bully. Kids that were way smaller than him would give him a hard time, you know? And there was I'm sure, a bit of a fear taken up for himself because, you know, he didn't know what could happen.
Which is honest. That's an honest fear.
And so Nikki, very sweet, very easy to bully. You didn't have to worry about Nikki. You had to worry about his sister.
Oh, no. In the weirdest way, got the same thing with me. I'm not tall, but you have to worry about all 4 of my sisters.
First of all, his sister, not tall at all. Nikki got all the height in the family. But his sister would see somebody messing with Nikki, and she would come out of nowhere.
Like fucking Randy Orton.
Truly nowhere. There was this one time that
she's here?
This kid was pushing Nikki around, right? And then finally, Nikki had enough, and he pushed this other kid back, right? But then that kid, you know, when somebody's bigger than you, you figure they can take whatever. This kid runs back up, pushes him down as hard as he can. Nikki falls to the ground. We don't know where his sister came from.
Like a Randy Orton.
We don't know where she just came running. I need to be clear how, we didn't know where she came from because she didn't go to the same school.
She was just watching her brother back. She's a popular like
so
Baba
when
Yaga.
Did you start running? Running. Then jumps in the air. We all give credit for that Sparta kick to the movie 300.
Yes,
I had seen it years before.
This is Sparta.
She got a running start. It jumped up in the air and then foot first walked up this kid. It's like, but like, remember the movie Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, where they just sort of kick, and they never came down?
Yeah. Yeah. One of my favorite movies.
Yeah. Oh. It is tough when you move out on your own for the first time and you're like...
If I guess you continue with the story, I do have a bit of a story. My second oldest stepsister, Shonda, I was getting bullied, and I tell this kid to leave me alone. He literally pushed me and hit me side my head too. I didn't know where the hell my sister was at out of nowhere. She closed the clothesline crap out of this kid.
You're broke, but you're also young. Like, I had the benefit of being young and broke, so I didn't even realize how broke I was. I wasn't even aware it could not be like this. Because, you know, there's a different mindset. I can only speak for myself, but it seems like there was just a different mindset at the time for the sort of standards of my mom's house versus like what mine would be, because I was out on my own for the first time, so I was sort of setting them in real time, like setting these parameters. When you're out by yourself for the first time and you get your first place, this little studio apartment in Chicago, it's like anything. You could do anything, you know? You could put up both Fight Club posters. You could do whatever. You could get the main one and the variant right next to it. There's nobody to stop you. You know, I had an air mattress and everything.
I mean,
just starting out, and so there are some things that I think other people would have clicked right away. We should do something about it. It just didn't happen for me. Not in my head right away. Like, for instance, when I would have somebody over and my fridge worked, but it didn't work hard. Like my fridge would do the fridge things, but just not all the things a fridge is supposed to do. I'd have somebody over, and then I'd offer them something to drink. I'd grab them something to drink, and I knew the cold spots of the fridge because the whole fridge wasn't cold, right? There were some, like the crisper was crispy. The crisper was perfect. Anything you really wanted to keep, you put in the crisper. But other stuff, you just had to be like, well, that's just a regular shelf.
It's a fridge shelf.
That's basically a cabinet shelf. And so I remember there was this one time that invited somebody over, poured them a drink, and then they asked for some ice, and I was like, okay.
How do I explain this?
So my freezer doesn't make ice, like it doesn't. And what I meant was like my freezer didn't get cold. Like my freezer was actually hot. Like I don't know what coil was switched, but the top was hot. A regular fridge was fridge, but this over here was basically a microwave. And so I was like, oh yeah, it doesn't make ice in there. And and they were like, oh, okay, well do you have an ice tray? Let's just pour some water. I don't mind waiting. And I was like, oh, you thought I meant I didn't have an ice maker. Okay, so what I'm saying is that like it won't exist in there.
It just won't exist.
Like it's too hot. Like that's why I don't have anything but bread in there, because it's very warm. And they weren't being rude, but they just sort of said it, I guess, as they were thinking it. They were like, you can't afford ice? And
damn.
When somebody points something out to you like that, it does remind you where you are when you can't afford just certain temperatures.
At that point, just get a bag of ice.
That's a level of broke. That's a breakthrough of broke, to not be able to afford enough cold near you.
Yeah, that is a breakthrough of broke. Yeah.
And so when you're in a situation like that, just like when I was on my own and was sort of getting my bearings around being out in the world and what things I needed to fix first, because I still need a bed.
Yeah.
I finally got...
I spent basically $600 for this new bed. A little bit over $600. That's crap baskets. That's including the bed frame, putting together, and the bed, and plus the new sheets and stuff.
Bed. And when I got that bed, okay, first of all, got the bed off Craigslist, so don't.
Okay, yeah.
The frame.
You hear the woman said, "Ew." I seen people get bed out of dumpsters. So, hey, it's weird. Yeah, that part is you. Craigslist, you hear and see stranger on Craigslist.
The frame. I say whole bed as if it's a whole bed because, if you just got a mattress on the floor, that's a mattress on the floor. You can't call that a bed. So I got my bed frame off Craigslist and then, bought a mattress and everything. That took some saving. For a little while, the air mattress was on the bed frame. Because if you did look too fast, it looked regular.
Okay, yeah, facts, I give you that.
But that bed frame, man, no wonder they were getting rid of it. Every time you sat down, you felt like you were hurting it.
And that's the reason why I got rid of mine.
The entire time I had that bed frame, I'd be in my head thinking, like, why does my bed's back hurt so much? And every creak is just... it just sounds like you don't have your life together. You sit down after a long day of work and you hear... How am I gonna get any restful sleep when you complaining the entire night? It was...
No, facts.
I'd move my leg and the bed would do everything except scream.
If my frame says anything, because it was doing that, literally heard my old best friend scream harder, daddy, I'm gonna be like, what the fuck? Hell no, I'm tossing your ass out tonight.
But when you're in a situation like that, and let's say you're even younger, let's say you're like Nikki and his sister, especially in the neighborhood that they were in. There's a lot of things coming at you, maybe faster than you know how to process. You know, you're in a neighborhood where there's gangs, where there's gang violence, and obviously after the fact, people ask themselves, why would anybody join a gang? You know, why would anybody get involved? And it's a question that's more important to ask before anything happens. You know, after these decisions have been made, it's very easy to
assume,
just be flippant about it. Why would anybody? Maybe this is somebody who's been beat up their entire life. The only time they don't get beat up is when they're with these people. For better or for worse, you know. Maybe these people aren't the best to have around, but at least I'm somewhat safe. There's a different type of danger hanging out with them. There's a present danger I know by being alone. You know? Maybe there's some sense of, this is the only way I'm going to be able to make some money. These guys already know a way. These guys always have money on them. You know, there's a false perception that maybe this is the way.
This is the way.
You know, they put a gun in your hand. I'm sure you feel powerful. They tell you run the block. I'm sure you feel powerful. It's not until something actually stops you that you realize you're not all powerful. Like you look at a kid like Nikki, and you know, it's not it's not like it is in the TV shows all the time, where there's just somebody seeking out, oh, that guy looks cool, I'll follow him around, maybe he'll let me join or something. Some people are coerced, some people are threatened. You know, you live here, you see us doing work, maybe it's time for you to do some work. They recruit them. That's the thing that people leave out. They recruit them. You know? And so maybe a kid like Nikki sees, though, this isn't it. I don't know what is, but this can't do this. So then a kid who almost never takes up for himself. A kid who's very gentle, although he's very tall. Waste of tall. Not using the tall right at all, but that's beside the point. A kid like Nikki gets approached, tells them, no, I'm good. I don't want to do that. I just live here. I'm not. And then it's his sister, of all people. It's his sister that also looks him in the face. Don't talk to my brother. You leave him alone. Right? Don't come.
And that's the one thing I'm always blessed with, having siblings like that. Because I have like 4 sisters, two of them are stepsisters, but I see them as my sisters. 2 of my sisters are me, and my other 2 sisters have same mom, different dads. I also have 2 brothers, nieces and nephews. Let's just say we all, you know, I'm more not family oriented, but I know they always have my back.
Yeah. And when you're dealing with a gang, you're not dealing with a lot of reason behind decisions. But this kid who's known for being soft, telling you no like that to your face, and his sister backing him right up every time she sees you all around him, that won't do. You tell them no even after they start messing with you. And then it's someone like your sister that takes up for you. It's someone like your sister that tells them to their face, not as big as you, not as scary. You leave my brother alone. I'm takes a lot of bravery to do something like that.
It does.
You leave my brother alone, knowing how dangerous they are. And then, maybe, one day, they decide to send some sort of message, right? And they pass your house, and they shoot at your house. But you're not home. Your sister's home, though. And those bullets that may have even been meant for you, whether they were meant to send a message or they were meant for you, they don't hit you. You're not there. They hit your sister. They took your sister. You see how a gang works? They'll take everything that they can as long as you let them. They'll do whatever they like as long as they feel like nobody can stop them. You know?
He's right.
I'll back up.
You hear when the crowd got real quiet when he was telling that part, because it's very much so true. Something that could have been easily meant for you is also hitting your loved one. And at the end of the day, like, when people, doesn't matter if it's gang violence or ICE or whatever you want to call it, does that, yes, that is collateral damage per se, but you still took someone's loved one over them defending themselves or something like, over something BS, totally BS. It's one thing I would say, like, look, no one likes needless violence. But when you start hitting innocent people, that's when everyone has a problem.
Real quick, you know, being out on your own and broke, you have to decide what professionals you're going to spend your money on, because all the professionals you can't afford. So sometimes you gotta go to a professional who says they're professional and doesn't feel very professional. Like, for instance, I require some things from a professional. Like, some of it may have nothing to do with their capabilities at their job. They're just things that make me uncomfortable. Like, I don't like when my professionals in some fields take cash.
At that point, it's like, what are you doing?
That makes me nervous. If you go to the doctor
and it said cash
and you
only,
get done and they don't ask you about insurance or anything, they're like, all right, it's gonna be $250, so you can do 10s and 5s. I could break 100 if you need change. Some things you just want to have taken care of ahead of time so you can just enjoy the experience of being in the presence of a professional. I don't want my pilot to take cash.
Yeah, that's scary. Now, that's scary.
What if I don't have cash on me?
Oh, no.
Even like the nonverbals sometimes. Sometimes a professional will let their feelings escape, right? They won't be very professional. Just let it out. As it happens, that is very jarring. It's terrifying. I don't ever want that to happen. Imagine you in court. You're in court, and then prosecutor says something, and then your lawyer turns to you and goes.
At that point, I'm like, dude, professionalism. Don't do that.
What's wrong with you? Everybody heard that. You couldn't keep that in?
Apparently not.
No, because you know what it is whenever people, they're supposed to be professional, emote like that, it lets you know that they also don't know
What to do.
what's supposed to happen.
That's
Now
jarring.
we're living in chaos. Do you know what I mean? If the people who are supposed to know don't know, if the people who were supposed to act some sort of way don't know how to act that way, now we're in chaos. Like, now we're in chaos. Like now we're in chaos. And I remember one of the earlier times I felt like this was with my dad. I was in the car with my dad, and we got a flat tire. And he went to the trunk, grabbed the spare, changed the tire, and then the car wouldn't start.
Oh.
I'm not saying at 7 years old I knew how to change a tire. I was just confused why, after changing this tire,
It just wouldn't start.
the car as a whole gave up. The car that was running before, and then you changed the tire. Here's the thing, I'm not a mechanic, not an engineer, but I look at tires like shoes. And if somebody's shoe fell off or wore down to the point they need another shoe, and then you gave them
a new shoe.
That shoe, and then they were like, oh, I don't walk anymore. I think you would be confused. I think it's fair that I was confused. I was like, all the wheels good.
The wheels are good.
Maybe try it again.
Maybe.
He's over here. Nothing. You know. So then he had to go into a store, find a phone, because this is, I'm like a 90s baby. I didn't have a cell phone for a long time. My dad didn't have a cell phone for a while. He had to go into a store and ask to use their phone to make a very embarrassing phone call. To call whoever he called to be like, yeah, I changed the tire.
Now the car won't start.
And now my car doesn't want to be a car anymore. And I remember I asked him, like, what are we gonna do, Dad? And in a moment of honesty, because to be fair, your parents are your parents. They're not professionals. They should be allowed to be human, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But I asked him, what are you gonna do, Dad? And he was like, I don't know, son. And I know I was little, but even looking back, I had too strong of a reaction. I was like, you don't know!
We're stranded, Daddy!
That was a little too much. But in my mind, in my like little bit of life experience, I was like, we are stranded here then.
Stranded here for a while.
What do you mean you don't know? And then someone came and they gave my dad a jump. Now, this is the first one I had ever seen. And once again, me being a kid, I didn't say it out loud, but in my head, I was like, that's not gonna work. Y'all just doing stuff now. Like this. Oh, we're gonna put the wire in the wire and then.
Well, sure enough, it works.
And then it did work. And when it worked, to my credit, I was like, man, my dad's a genius. Who would even thought? You just wire up to another car and it'll be a car again. But yeah, that feels like where we are. Where, do you know what I mean? Where there are people that are supposed to know, who even say that they know, but when they start telling you what they know,
It doesn't make sense.
you realize they don't know
Yep.
anything. And that's very scary. That's terrifying. Sometimes I don't even know what press conference I'm watching and what it's about. I watched this, it was a press conference where there was a press conference where Marco Rubio wrote something down and slid it to Trump.
Same
And like,
thing.
I don't know, man, I've never seen somebody so locked in to being evil and so checked out of life. Because this dude gets slid the note, and then there's no way Trump has an internal monologue. We must know every thought that comes through his head. Because
it's the reason why I said this. I have said this in public. I have said this with friends who's on that same side. I say that because I always tell people this. I don't know nobody's side of this, but I do have to admit, I feel like the president needs a handler. Like he's a child. Like at the point, like, dude, you don't need to say the stuff that you inside your head out loud. Calm. Like, no, yes, I understand you're a grown ass man. I understand that, but you've been saying weird shit, and people take that as gospel. That's strange.
Marco Rubio went ahead and passed him the note, and then he says out loud, you know, okay, do you remember in English class when your teacher made you like read? Marco Rubio went ahead and passed him the note, and then he says out loud, you know, okay, do you remember in English class when your teacher made you like read Shakespeare, but then somebody in the class had to also read the stage direction just so everybody would know where we were at? Things that should clearly be in his head.
It's not. It's not.
Get spoken out loud. This dude gets slid the note and then says out loud, Marco Rubio just passed me a note.
Oh, dude, you really are an old man. Like.
You gotta watch the video from the specific angle I'm talking about because it exists. I saw it when it happened, but the other angle that's like centered on Trump doesn't do it justice. There's an angle that's like to the right of Trump. There's a camera, and you see where Trump says Marco Rubio just passed me a note. You see Marco Rubio go.
Why would you say that?
And then Trump reads the note out loud.
Oh, God. Like
for everyone. And that's, once again, maybe something he meant to do in his head.
Maybe.
His mouth never stopped. Because then he's like, it says Chevron. Go back to Chevron. He read the note out loud. At a press conference, I'm assuming where they're talking about oil, and doesn't seem to know what this note means.
Go back to Chevron.
Go back to Chevron. Go back to Chevron. All right. I'm surprised he didn't just keep talking. Like, go back to Chevron.
Don't give him ideas, Josh.
Yeah, I've never worked there. Interesting. Okay. Like he so clearly did everything that should have been in his head. I'm surprised this man didn't grab the note. Marco Rubio just passed me a note, bend arm. It says.
This is coming from a guy who said that he was a perfect spokesman.
It says go back to Chevron. What does that mean, turnhead? And look, I don't even know if this is the same press conference because this is a different clip. There was a point where I don't know if Trump was talking or somebody else was talking or if he was being asked a question, but he just got up from the table and looked out the door. This man over just, yeah. Wow. That's gonna be the entrance to the ballroom.
So I need to get out of here, like stat. I can't blame him. I cannot blame him.
Sir, if you don't sit your Biden-built brain down, this is everything you said about Biden. Everything you're doing right now. Every ounce of it was supposed to be what Joe Biden was like.
Technically he was.
This man tried to bully Joe Biden the entire campaign with the fact that the auto pen, the famous auto pen, he doesn't know what's going on. Somebody else is running the White House. It's like, all right, look, for all of his faults, Biden was never passed a note.
Yeah.
He was never passed a note. It was like, Vice President Harris just passed me a note. No, it's insanity. No, it's so wild. Especially because we're how it all just feels especially insane that how this dementia is affecting all of us. Do you know what I mean? Like I've had people in my life that I love dearly have dementia, and it affected the family.
Surprisingly more.
Not the country. Not, you know what I mean? Like it, if your great uncle starts grabbing the remote control for the TV and pressing buttons and putting it to his ear, that doesn't affect Greenland.
Yeah.
You know? It's just, I don't know. Sometimes you just want to get the message out. Thank God the internet, for now at least, is like viewable by people from other countries that aren't near, because they can see us also be like, no, every day we wake up, and if you have a smartphone, you probably have your notifications on. Which is not, is maybe wait. stuff will be there eventually. You shouldn't wake up to the news.
Yeah.
Give yourself a minute.
Give yourself
You know
a
what I mean?
minute
Because
too.
like you wake up and then you open your phone and there's all the headlines because the publications were working while you were sleeping, and they have a list ready to go of things to give you Marco Rubio face.
That whole was weird.
There's a big flaw we have now in that the news by headline is like in your phone. It just hits your phone like that. You gotta turn your notifications off sometimes just for the sake of your mind, because I was checking the time.
I said that about the news.
I just wanted to know the time. And now, uh-oh.
Yeah, it's like whoa, uh-oh.
Well, oh no, I was gonna travel. Looks like we're not friends with anybody anymore. It's devastating. You know? And
No, it is.
you see things like you see what happened in Minneapolis. Yeah.
See how I got quiet?
You see everything that happened, and it is it's sad and fascinating that no matter how many angles come out, no matter what people are watching, no one's really changing their position. And I think one of the main reasons is that there are many people that are trying to argue the legality, and everyone else is trying to argue the morality. You know?
It's one of those things. Like I said in the beginning, it's comes to the point that when did we forsake ourselves? Literally. And I don't care what side you're on. What happened in Minneapolis, it's 100% wrong. Especially when you like with I remember what Hassan Minaj said with his Patriot Act. It's the whole thing when he did the episode about the whole thing with George Floyd. The whole picture matters. Yes, we got different angles, but all those angles still point out the person, the ICE agent righteously fired his weapon, and the person who, and the lady that passed away because of this person, literally was doing as what she was told. Stop right here, turn your vehicle around, and keep going. And that's what she was doing.
We're not speaking the same language about these things, which is one of the main reasons we're not getting anywhere.
It's just going around in
And
circles.
I think that, look, if your entire moral compass is based on what the laws are currently at the time, I think that's a very weak compass, because all of the good that has ever come to this country and to people in general was through change. It was through adjustment. It was through figuring out what met the moment the best, you know? There's no, to me at least, there's very little good in just saying, well, that is the way it is. It's like that's
a slap in the face.
That's not,
Because at the end of the day, it is a slap in the face, and he's supposed to take it. And like after a while, like dude, you're just leaving marks, like unhealable wounds, scars. Something does have to change. I hope soon, rather than later.
enough. Every benefit to your life, every single benefit to your life came through some sort of change. The powers that be weren't just waking up one day and then thinking, oh, well, we probably should do a little better. Sadly, that's not how that sort of like arc of justice bends. It usually bends with pressure, you know?
It's the force to see a problem and ideas to fix it.
Trust me when I tell you that J.D. Rockefeller or, Carnegie, Any of these robber barons, they weren't laid up at night figuring out how to start a union. You know? All these things come with time. You know, you can make whatever legal argument you want to make. That is not what people are not arguing for some sort of like Section 3, Article 5 of some. They saw the video. You saw the video. And I personally think one of the reasons to argue the legality or to make the status quo your moral compass is because you're either not affected or you think that if you play ball, it won't come for you. It won't affect you, you know? And that's just not the case. Now we are where we are because they needed something. They needed something. They passed this bill that is going to really devastate a lot of people. You know what I mean? They passed it a while ago and they're hoping you don't remember. In fact, they're looking for something. They need something new. It can't be the old stuff because they said they fixed all the old stuff. Right? So they need something new. You know, they passed this bill that lets AI companies off the hook, that rolls back a bunch of environmental protections, that slashes your health care, and they need something new, which is why they landed on Somali daycare fraud. No, you know Somali daycare fraud, the most lucrative fraud of all time. It is the fraud that... It's honestly the fraud that the world turns on the axis of. It is the most prevalent fraud that has ever existed. If only Walter White had known about Somali daycare fraud.
Hey man, he'd be
It would have been a very different show. No, they need something new because they're hoping that you'll forget that they can't actually, and they don't have plans to, and the things that it would take they're not willing to do to improve your life. They're not going to do it, you know? They're all in the same pool, so they're not going to tax their friends, you know? So what can they do? Well, they can't improve your life. They can't do it, but they can make everybody else's life miserable. Like they can make everyone else's life worse, and then that's equality. Yeah. It's like when you're it's like when you're dating somebody that sucks and then they are like, yeah, but other people suck too. You'll sit them down and tell them everything that you feel like they are doing wrong in the relationship, and they're like, everybody does that though. Like if it's not me, it's just gonna be somebody else forgetting your birthday. That's gonna happen.
At the point of swing.
Because you see what happened, and you see how panicked they genuinely were. You know, they sent these guys out. I hate to burst anyone's bubble, but as a country, we are like broke. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We are like, because their bill also adds to the deficit. And we're very broke. And not the government, I should be clear. The people. Like the people. I know people think it's the same thing. But people from other countries, just so you know, it's not the same thing. The country, as in the government, is doing fine. They just found a bunch of oil.
Yeah.
It's the people. It's the people who are struggling. It's the people whose groceries prices and whose healthcare costs are skyrocketing. It's the people who have less to show for the work that they do. And it's the people losing their jobs, getting their government jobs slashed and getting let go from companies and everything. And so they need something. We can't afford, in the bill, $29 billion
Damn.
for ICE. We cannot afford ice any more than I could afford ice.
Damn! That's a bar! And he's right.
I can't believe $29 billion. I mean, but this is my thing, I guess, is that you watch something like what's happening in Minneapolis, because it's not just one instance, it's not just one thing, you know? Because the same day that Renee Good lost her life, a high school in Minneapolis was pretty much just attacked by ICE, like pepper spray. They pepper sprayed kids, you know? You look at what happened in Chicago. They pulled kids out. They pulled all these people out of this building. It was just a show of force. It doesn't look like there were really any convictions out of that. It was pure harassment, you know? People talk about comply. People talk about what is legal, but really think about what's moral. You know?
After a while, it becomes less.
I'll tell you right now.
It becomes less legal. It's more like I said. When did we forsake ourselves? Like literally, because this is morally wrong. And the point that people are praising it, there's some people who are praising it. I'm like, dude, I don't care what side you're on. This is morally wrong. Some people who were literally, I literally heard people who were, or current still is Republicans, literally said, and I quote, I did not sign up for this. What the hell's happening?
If you just sort of go with the flow, you go with the status quo, you just simply comply over and over again, you know, nothing really changes.
Ooh, excuse me.
Not a single thing. Because once again, the people who have everything don't really think about breaking you off a piece. That's just not how it works, you know. They weren't up at night figuring out, well, you know, maybe a minimum wage would be good. You know. I'll tell you right now, if all you do is comply, if all you do is hope that things change or get better, but you go along with everything as it stands,
it will never get better.
It doesn't happen.
Yeah.
If everyone that came before me had just complied, then I probably would have entered this theater, any theater, through a colored section. You know, every good thing you have in your life is a product of someone else's struggle. You know? You see everything that's happening. And it's not about what they say it's about. You know? People talk about coming over the right way, doing it the right way and everything. Meanwhile, the people that say that don't even actually know what the right way is. Not top to bottom. The people trying to do it know. But they don't even understand the significance of yanking people out of a hearing that's their immigration hearing that they showed up to do it the right way. You know? You're just jamming people up for the sake of doing it. Now, be clear here. It is not about Somali daycare fraud. Even the narrative building, even what happens next. Then the president makes a statement. There's no way he saw the video. And I'm not even saying that because I think that there's some like moral core to. I'm saying that because what he said, he was like, this officer was run over. He's lucky to be alive. She ran right over him. I mean, he basically exploded. And he had the wherewithal to put himself back together again. Reconstitute his body. Amazing stuff. No, you see how They paint this person immediately. You know, they need their narrative more than anything, because if the narrative falls apart, then everything is exposed. And if it's all exposed, you start to blame who's worth blaming. It's never been more important to know all of your rights, to know all of them. And you know, it's never been more important to know the difference between a judicial warrant and an ICE warrant. Like, a judicial warrant is something signed by a judge, and the judge signs it, and it means they can't come in. Because the judge wrote that we need to go get you.
Yeah.
And a lot of times when they have a judicial warrant, they don't even knock. They just sort of come in.
Yeah.
It's not really up for discussion. An ICE warrant is a thing that ICE wrote that they may show you, and it may even be part of narratives that happen for the future, where, well, they had a warrant. Which warrant? It's important to know, because ICE having a warrant is like me writing myself a sick note. You know what I mean? I've done it many times. I've had to write my own doctor's note many times. And every time I gotta write my own doctor's note, the story, I do too much. The story's like unbelievable. Like usually a doctor's note is like 2 sentences, because doctors don't even want to do it, but sometimes employers or schools require it. But then I would be doing, oh man, I'd be doing too much. I'd be like, ooh, what a brave boy.
The bravest of boys.
I can't believe he's making it through, you know? Don't just go easy on him. Applaud him for his courage. It's very important that you understand what's happening and what could happen next as a result of it. So often, our lawmakers and even some of us with the best of intentions address things as they happen. We don't cut them off ahead of time. Like I watch the things that happen with ICE, and they're not cops. They're these federal agents that are there to kidnap and disappear people. That is the point.
Yeah.
It's the entire reason that Renee Good isn't with us. And it is more than fitting that these people, that this administration would be the enemy of good. Like, you're watching it happen. And there's a sort of like collective trauma around it. Because it's just happening over and over again. It happens every time that you watch it. And I don't know, it reminds me that it's important to choose as much family as you can. You choose to protect your family. Choose to protect people that when you were born you had no relation to, but you found each other. There's nothing more important. Because when they didn't see Nikki the first time, they went ahead, spin the block, go back around, shot through. They do the same thing to us. They do the same thing to us all the time. You know, several years removed, but not a mile away from where George Floyd died. And what happened then? We marched, we protested, we begged, worked as much as we could for some sort of change, and then several years later, they spin the block, right? They took, and they'll take as much as they can, take as much as you let them. And look, there are people right? There are people who will never see your side of things. There are people who are not working for you. They work for whatever corporation funds them. They work for whatever lobbyist gives them the most money. But the people that you vote for, the people that you put in power, it is important now more than ever that you stay on their neck. You stay on them. Because when things like this happen and there's this sort of like rhetoric around, you see how people feel one way or the other, and you see politicians try to do their spin. Obviously, there's a way that we expect everybody to fall, but it's important to remember that usually ICE funding is bipartisan. So you only control the people that you vote for, but you got to stay on them. You never let up. Being a public official should be a headache.
Yeah.
You know, I genuinely, it depends on who it is, but I usually hate to see him smile. I'm like, why are you having a good day?
Why are you?
Because you wonder, you see these videos of people just going about their life or trying to do the right thing, being violently met by ICE agents. There's always a narrative to fall back on later, even when the narrative is alive, even when it gets disproven. There's always some sort of narrative to fall back on. And it makes you wonder, why would anybody even join up? Why would anybody join this thing? And then you see, it's like, okay, economically tough times, signing bonus, maybe I've been picked on my entire life, and now I get a gun, maybe. They tell me that I run this area, I can go wherever I want, I can do whatever I want, finally have some power, and you see what they do with it.
Reckless. Just be reckless.
You watch what happened. And it's important to remember that you can choose family. You know, you can choose the people that you stick your neck out for. You can choose the people that you protect that mean as much to you as your own life. You can choose people. And it's important to keep making those choices daily. The stronger you make those choices, the stronger the bond is, the less that they have. Because remember, it's not as if ICE is some sort of army or something. They actually have wildly low numbers. That's why they need the police to come back them up everywhere they go. That's why all it takes is being pelted with snowballs and they leave. It was snowballs. It was snowballs in Minnesota. Snowballs in Minnesota is basically the weather conditions. So that's. And so, when you watch what happens, it's important that we, as people, take it upon ourselves as best as we can. As much as we can sacrifice, because everybody can't take on the same amount of burden. I understand that, but as much as you can do, you do it, and you make a better world. That's the way forward, you know? This was not the first ICE-related shooting. This was not the first ICE-related death. And it's not just going to go away. I think about those kids that are left behind now and how it's important that they be chosen as family to take them in. Because you watch that video, you watch everything that happened. You can watch people litigate all they want. But once again, you're talking about people who are arguing for the legality versus people who are arguing the morality, you know? They did what they did because they knew that they could. You know what I mean? And it's important that people left behind, like that child, those children, they become our responsibility.
Bingo.
Because make no mistake, they took our sister. Do you see how a gang works?
said, I am on nobody's side, but what happened in Middle Apple with Renee, all of it is wrong. All of it. And like he said, they basically took our sister. But anyway, let me know your thoughts about this whole entire thing, and RIP Renee Good. What? I don't care what side you're on. You can be left, right, front, and center. It does not matter. What happened? What's wrong? Plain and simple. Plain and simple. But anyway, I digress. Because I'm about to go to bed in a few anyway. Cause I'm recording this on a Wednesday, so. But anyway, if you like any of this content, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Like, comment, and subscribe to Josh Johnson. I will leave the original link to this video down below, so watch it uninterrupted. Till next time, please take care of yourself, stay hydrated, stay safe, stay warm. Peace out.
And little questions is everything they know about you. No.